driving black destroyers called Dredge deep into the northern wastes. Now is an era of growth and trade. Life goes on. Only one thing has stopped. The sun.
Some of the men in the caravan have taken it as a dire omen. I am not quick to superstition, but I myself will be glad to be done with this year's rounds.
Oh shit, I didn't know they were giants.
I am in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe.
Hello and welcome back to the Banner Saga. Today we're going to touch on this game and try and get a little bit further. In the last episode we did the tutorial and we also did the first mission, which was that we had to go to the mead room and get out these scallions people. I think the scallions are an organisation of people that we had to kill. And now, if I just go back and resume, we need to meet someone at the docks and stall them for Eric. Because Eric was some kind of political person and he wasn't ready for these guys who've arrived via boat. So we need to stall them, and we said we would do it. You could have refused him, but I didn't see much point in refusing him. Alright, so, Fognate. Familiar Val steps onto the docks. In your mind you recall a much younger version trampling the halls of Golthium, abundant in purpose. Some of the words in this game are really strange, but we'll just have to deal with it. I think it's because it's a Viking story, obviously. Gods Ubin, you've been looking ancient. Comes of being old, and it is. If there's a Volgia, there must be Hakon. Must there? Still bleating tributes from the poor and stupid old yokes. At what age do you lose your sense of shame? It would have been good if it had voice acting throughout, because it has voice acting in the cinematics, so I don't see why it doesn't have them here. Jordi Adranze, and I'll take that over lingering a death of Gromhiel. Speaking of, I have no sense that you are so far from home. Just returned from Adrabag, in fact. And glad for it. Hakon motions to the ships in the bay, sails still fluttering, golden wolf head emblazoned on red. King of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's whelp. The king's son, Luden. Don't you know Scrivener? Well, we visit his capital, he visits ours. It's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Depressed Hakon. Yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Then you're gonna need Grothium. I have the distinct feeling that I've finished my business in Strand. I was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should give it a day. In better circumstances I'd drink a week away, but as we've done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is the princess delight behold. Where's Mogger? Mogaya? Mogara? What the fuck knows? Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in the wake. You recognise a few, others as strangers. Cool. Guess I'm off to find Moggia. See you in the morning, Scrivinter. I'll be along. I don't understand these words. Are they like Swedish or something? Scrivinter, Grothian. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Luden looks for all the world. The sort of boy who grows up pulling the legs from spiders. What? The long road back to Grothian shouldn't be more interesting than most years, you think. What? He looks like the type of person who fucking pulls the legs off spiders. Weariness suddenly settles in and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it's been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you at any place to sleep. So I would go there then. On the other hand, if you don't join Vokia's caravan tomorrow, it might be not hurt to share a drink with Hakon, or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke highly of. So this is where we have to start making decisions, I think. So we can have a drink with our old friend, or we can go meet the prince. I think we should go meet him. I think that's probably the best option. Let's go. Or maybe we can even do both. Scrivener! You find Hakon in the mead house, of course, surrounded by the other Val. Strand is no stranger to Val, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waved you over. Went straight for a flagon. Luckily, is the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. You already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the human settlements that give me trouble. No surprise. What's it this time? So we're a tax collector, basically. When I got here in the Great Hall, it was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Humans. Guess if you only lived as long as you... A yox fart? I might be desperate to make something out of myself too. A yox? What the fuck's a yox? It's like a yak and a fox. It's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon let slip a low chuckle. Any Vol could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting the swathe through a dredge at Vognir's side at the Second War and regularly since then. Dredge. Swath. Cut it. Well, maybe not cutting. Down here I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point, just another reason to get back to the Grofheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the meat house becomes overbearing, then step out into the cool air. Well, that was pointless. We didn't really learn anything. So we can do both. So we probably should. Is this the right place? You find the prince in an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Vol who must be working for Luden. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Luden. Yes, you're with Vognir. I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Vognir a long time. I'll be joining you back in Grofheim with my guards. Luden looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? I work for the king, carrying teeth to a capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? So now we get to choose what we say, which is probably the best part of this game in my opinion. Introduce myself, learn more about you. I have a habit of recording history. This one. A habit of recording history. A Val historian. Don't you already know? Your king and mine both have practically trumpeted throughout the seas. I've been on the road a while, I'm afraid. Luden takes a deep sigh. Whether tired or ungracious, you aren't certain. Maybe both. He doesn't look like he pulls the arms off spiders, to be honest, though. Like, that's a bit of an over-exaggeration. A formality, mostly. Vognir came to our capital in Arborang. Now we go to the Val's capital in Grofheim to cement this grand alliance for the next stage of men and Val. You sound unconvinced. There's no need for it. And it's damned cold up here too. You get the sense he's struggling not to complain outright. You take the opportunity to excuse yourself. Well, that wasn't worth it at all. Like, the other guy was just drinking beer and he was just being a twat. Bollocks to that. Great Hall. At dawn, you're awoken by delivery of goods. At least you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with the sun never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply levers. All there, just promised. To your mild surprise, you wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. 20 renowned. That's pretty good. We're normally going to get 4. Your guards take the treasure wagon down at the gates, and Vognir is already here. A while later, Luden and his men appear, groggy and dishevelled. Vognir steps forward. Vognir's quarters master. If you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors, not only in passing, he asks if you're ready to depart. Where you go? You follow Vognir and join the others. Usually the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath, and best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing out of the sort, just frustrated, tired people. It summarises the Strand as a whole, you think. Is that us? So now we're on the road. So we're leaving Strand with it's a pretty big fucking caravan, like. So we're leaving the Strand and we're going onwards. Where are we going now? Is that time? Yeah, that's days, like days on the road. We're gonna stop here. Do we choose when we stop? Renowned. The caravan stops for a day. A gift, says Muggier, cracking open the mead casks, from our gracious friend, the Governor of Strand. Hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed throughout the camp. Drink a little, drink a lot. Toast to Vognir. It's probably not wise to drink a lot, that goes without saying, because what happens if there's a battle? Like, what happens if we get raided, and we're fucking drunk, and we're stumbling about, like, not knowing what's going on, you know? So we shouldn't drink a lot, but we should toast to Vognir, so we should cement that relationship. Yeah, that makes sense. You raise your drink, toasting the alliance between Man and Varl, the others join in. Luden's expression is like a stone wall, but the others laugh at your exaggerations. Eventually you sit down beside Vognir. Chat with Vognir, drink merrily, go easy on the drink. I think we should chat with him. I think it might pay off, in some sense. Like, he's not going to hate us for talking to him, is he? I mean, maybe he does. Maybe he's got, like, Asperger's. Fuck knows. Thanks for the speech. So let's Vognir. Oh, so he's drunk. That was a good chat, wasn't it? Looks like you didn't have to miss out after all. Thanks, Roger. I had a damn gun. I never shut up. Drunk. Did he give you the history of his entire family? He tried. Then he asked me to clean up his mess. For your benefit, turns out. I'm giving the job to you too. God, there's so joy in politics. Speaking of. He always says speaking of. Who says speaking of? Speaking of, what happens after this business with Luden? Hopefully the boy goes back to Arbrang on his own, and I can take some frustration out on dregs or something. Starting to sound like Hakon. You don't like the life of a diplomat? You don't miss the fight, Uben. You down your meat instead of replying. Vognir slouches and shakes his head. There's no great joy in killing Dredge, but this... Pretty sure this nonsense is some stream between the two kings to force some kind of lineage. Used to be you warriors would follow for what you've done. Isn't that why they follow you? Is it? Or is it because I'm next in line? These lines are getting muddy, old Varl. They've always been muddy, Vognir. Vognir stares into the campfire lost in thought. You leave him to it. Poor Vognir. Drunken Giant. You rise groggily, the campsite, a casualty of merriment? How is it? That's like saying a wound of happiness, isn't it? That doesn't make fucking sense. Vognir is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Luden stalking to your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Vognir, you'll need it. Ah, it's Luden. Always a pleasure. You look well rested. Vognir releases his caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return. How long to Griffey? We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come, I'll show you on a map. And I assume we get to see the map as well, to see where we are. Otherwise that's just pretty stupid, isn't it? If we don't see it. Yeah, we do. Click and drag the map to look around. A portrait icon shows where your caravan is in the world. You can also click on any location to get some history about it. And you click the X to go off. The wandering road at the end of the First Great War, the Varl had more to contend with than mankind to the south. Above the Barabrak peaks, the lands crawled with furious, war-minded dreg. What are the dreg? Right, what do they look like? What's this? Cautious? Cautious? Oh, fuck it, I can't pronounce any of these words. One of the most important characters of the First Great War was Carl. A very good name. Good old Carl. We head north and then east, then past the forts. Grofheim's far from Strand. Gonna be a long march. You shouldn't have drank last night, Luden. Why not take the ships to Skirmstead? No, he said Skyrimstead. Skirmstead. What's the point of marching? Silverstone Bay is called the fort. Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skirmstead. A half-sunken city calling with dreg, Prince. Dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers? Looking at sails through his nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside the tense flaps as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Don't poke the anthill, Fognir. He seems no happier to be here than you. Spend a few more days with a boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off to. Take it they don't like him. Luden's got a shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Fognir. Let's get moving. Another half day of Verdefell like Vorlucky. Cool. Camp is where you manage your caravan during travel. You can enter the camp at any time by clicking the camp button on the travel HUD. Whilst at camp or in towns, you can upgrade your allies or equip items in the hero's tent. You can pass time by using a rest tent. Resting will improve the caravan's morale. High morale will reduce casualties in war and affect your willpower in combat. Training. Heroes. Right, we need to go heroes. Click on the unit to view stats, promote ranks, and learn about abilities. So, him. Click on the ability button to learn about the unit's abilities. Sundering Impact. The War Master hits even harder than an average warrior with no chance to miss. Cool. Can we level them up? None of them have. That guy had. One of them had. Promote. The greatest warriors on the battlefield are those who live past their first battles to start a journey down the path to legend. So you don't need to pick one, do you? You just continue. Yeah, we've got enough renowned. We can do it. And we'll have to put 2 points into something. How do we upgrade stuff? How do we upgrade stuff? He's got points, but how do you spend them? But what even is that? We'll put it in this for now, but I don't understand like how to upgrade stuff. So I don't think you can upgrade that, so we'll just go. I don't know where to start. Well, go with what we know. Okay. There you go. What's that? Is that everything? That's everything. How do we get out? There. Done. Done. Nice. Well, in the episode here, I've been Cipyaar. This has been Banner Saga. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next time.